Hi, I'm Becki. I'm the beer director for Hogsalt. Today we're going to walk through how to fill and change a cocktail keg. We have our cocktail keg. This is also known as a Cornelius keg or corny keg or soda keg. Homebrewers have been using these for years, and historically soda shops use them to fill with soda syrups. We use them for our cocktails and sangrias here at Hogsalt because they're easy to fill and clean. Let's talk about the components that you'll be using with this cocktail keg. Here we've got our main lid. It's really important that we never assume this keg has been depressurized. Every time these kegs are hooked up to the draft system, to gas, they do get pressurized. It is best practices to always depressurize the keg every time you're about to open it. Right here, we've got a little pin. When we pull this up, it will depressurize the keg. This keg is empty right now. I'm gonna assume it is pressurized. And sure enough, it was pressurized. Now that it's been depressurized, we can open the keg. We're ready to open it. We're gonna lift up on this handle here. Push down a little bit, takes a little bit of force. And then if we twist this lid and pull out, you can see the lid removed. Right here, there's a gasket along here. A lot of times this gasket will get stuck inside the lip, so it's just important every time you open a keg to make sure that you collect that gasket so it doesn't fall down in and get lost. Inside, you can see we've got a couple down tubes of the keg. See our in portion right here. This is where the gas goes into the keg to push product up. The product will come out and go into the wall for the tap system. Alright, so we have our empty dirty keg. Just an important note, every single time we empty out a keg, we want to send it to the dish station. It's really important these get cleaned and properly sanitized between every filling. So this empty keg will go through to the dish station, and we'll also make sure that we hand wash these lids and make sure that the gasket gets washed and stays with the lids too, not lost. Once our keg's clean, we're ready to fill it. Please follow the recipe guide in your beverage index for your stores. It's really important that we use the Hogsalt app every single time we go to batch a keg. We're following those recipes to a T, weighing out, measuring ingredients accordingly before we move the keg. Okay, so now we're ready to hook up our keg. We've used our recipe index to create a dirty martini in this case. We've mixed it separately, filled the keg, and now we're ready to get it hooked back up to our system. We've got our lid here ready to go. One important note, talked about this gasket before, just give it a quick look over, make sure that it's intact, there's no pock marks or anything in it. They do wear out over time, and we do have extras in our store. To replace the lid, we're going to put it in sideways first, twist it, pull up. Takes a little bit of maneuvering just to get it seated properly. Once it is, while still pulling up a little bit on the lid to keep that tension tight, we'll then push down. All right, now we're ready to hook the keg back up to the system. So an important note, the kegs will each have an in and an out section marked. It's really important that the gray coupler goes into the in connection and the black coupler goes in the out connection. I always remember black out. So black is on out, gray is on in, we're good to go. So we'll hook up our gray section first. These couplers, if you just lift up a little bit on them and then push down, they'll click. Don't be worried, you'll hear the gas. This is the gas line. You'll hear that recharging or repressurizing the keg. Then you're ready. Same thing, you can lift up a little bit on this, push straight down. You'll hear a click. Now your product line is set. Now we're ready to reset our fob. Remember, these are our foam on beer detectors. In this case, it's not for beer, for cocktails, but they keep the line from the wall to the taps packed with product so that all we need to do is fill this little product line here and refill this, and we're ready to pour right away. So again, there's a little twist up here, a little knock for this float here. We'll twist that up. On the side, there's a pressure valve. We'll push that in. We push it until this fob fills up with product and our float goes back up. As a reminder, if that float wants to stick, you can twist this knob up and down until it floats back up. Once this is full, we are ready to start pouring a cocktail at the taps.
Right, and now you know how to change a cocktail keg.
Every restaurant has kegs that are a little bit different, but they're all similar in that they all have the same in and out, and the same pressure relief valve. The lids might look a little different, but we follow the same procedures every single time. This means that every time we have an empty keg, we're always going to pull up on the pressure relief pin and depressurize it before we open the lids. We're always going to send these kegs through dish, through the 3-compartment sink, checking that we have our gasket when we do so. We're always going to use the cocktail index to make the recipes to fill these kegs, and then follow the same procedures for hooking them back up. Thank you, everyone.